So there was a recent poll done by Dark Reading, and in that poll, it found that 72% of departing CEOs had taken IP with them when they left. So let's talk about internal risk. What are you seeing with the internal risk when it comes to breach response? How are you advising customers to deal with that and train and educate internally to avoid those potential risks? Rich?
Can I feel that one?
Sure. There's a term that was thrown around a few years ago called, they refer to it as a bad leaver. In some cases, if it's someone that's leaving that is disgruntled.
Sure.
So they take everything. You can apply that the same way with someone who's just like, hey, it's they're my contacts, it's my email, blah blah blah. I want to take it. How do I advise? How would I advise clients, law firms, whatever, to just deal with that? Like, look, these are the questions you need to ask before anyone, doesn't matter who they are, walks out the door. Right? If it's their computer, okay, what information do you have on there? Do you have any control, like an MDM or something for mobile stuff? Do you have any control over what data they have on there?
Yeah.
Right? Can you get it off? Can they make you a copy? If they're fighting you on that, that's a pretty good indication something might be shaky. So okay, before you leave, as a part of your exit, put this in your exit interview, no matter what level you are.
Right.
These are the things I need from you before you walk out the door today. You'll get them back in due course, whatever that means. That's what I would advise. That's how I would advise my clients. It's like, ask these questions now, get compliance, because usually if it's somebody that's not leaving with any kind of agenda, they're just like, yeah, I got no problem giving you this stuff. Just make sure I get it back tomorrow,
right?
Or get it back the next day. But when you don't ask those questions and they're out there in the wild, now you've hired people like us to come in and remediate this situation that was created by the fact that you didn't ask these questions when these folks were walking out the door, when you had a good relationship with them.
Yeah, we at the intellectual property theft, we have probably 5 cases going on continuously in the company for the last 15 years. We're just a steady stream of that, because there is so much of that, to the point of we have like a whole program just for dealing with that sort of thing, advising companies on what to do. We have processes that we work with HR departments, just so that anybody fired for cause, anybody director and above, anybody all C-level employees, we're capturing hard drives, email accounts, files, social media, whatever they've got that's associated with the company, prior to any kind of departure, and permanently holding that, well, not permanently, 3-year hold on that stuff after they leave and things like that. So we have a lot of that. In the last couple of years, I don't know if you've seen this, we've seen a lot more people just walking out of the company when they leave and taking company laptop with them, under the idea that, well, it's, I've got my email on there, or I've got my data on there, which it's kind of a new phenomenon we've seen in the last couple of years, but people not being able to clearly separate in their heads, like what's company versus what's theirs, and things like that. So I think to some extent it also helps to have good policies around that. It's a real disaster from an eDiscovery or litigation perspective when you have a business where data is commingled, personal and business on computers, and worse even than that is people bringing in their own equipment.
Well, yeah, we've seen a spike. I feel like we've seen a spike with a number of organizations allowing for bring your own device.
Yeah.
And I remember reading numerous articles last year where firms are adopting these bring your own device policies, and either allowing for it or just trying to tailor their policies to address.
Yeah, it's just a bring your own disaster situation, because from a litigation perspective, right now you have ownership issues and they don't have to turn it over and things like this. From a security perspective, I don't necessarily have the same controls and backups and things on that computer, and there's a lot of conflicting just back and forth then, like policies and procedures for clients, what's okay, what's not okay, what can I copy to mine, and it just creates this just bundle of trouble that will catch up with you down the road someday.
Right.